Now, a few years ago, my next guest, Robert Waterman, used to promote all over London, in fact, all over the country. He had a bit of a deal with the BBC. And he also had a young heavyweight called Roman Greenberg, who was, I tell you what, he was an entertaining fighter and he could fight a bit. Anyway, Robert's back. He's back promoting in this country. And in fact, he's going to be promoting up in Peterborough with a friend of the show and a friend of mine called Stuart Howe. And the show will be good value. I know that because these guys are straight. I know you heard what I said. These guys are straight. Anyway, I spoke to Robert a bit earlier on, and I started by asking him how he ended up picking Peterborough.
Well, it's very funny. I haven't done much promoting in the UK for quite some time, and I've been wanting to make a run at it with Olympic year and with a lot of people saying that boxing's in trouble in the UK. I thought that needn't be the case, and I wanted to do something. And I bumped into some people who said, we've got this amazing venue up in Peterborough called the Arena, and would you like to do some boxing there? And I said, I'd love to. I went up there, looked at the arena, which is a world-class arena, seats up to 6,000 people.
Staggering.
And I just got really excited about it. And then I looked into it and found there were these boxers from Peterborough that have hardly ever fought at home. Jake Dyer, JJ Bird, Cello Render. And so got them all on the card, and we look like we've got a great show.
You sort of mixed it up with, fighters that have fought, as you say, with other promoters and on different TV companies. You seem to have pulled them in under one big banner. Was that easy, Rob, or is that just part of your negotiating skills? Because you're good at putting people together, aren't you?
Well, I thought it would be. I'd like to say it's part of my negotiating skills, but I don't think it was. I think it was fairly easy. I think what actually happened was that there hasn't been anything going on in Peterborough, and when I approached them, they felt it was a breath of fresh air, someone who would work with everybody.
Sure.
Had some issues with JJ, because JJ Bird had been out of the ring for some time because he had this funny medical episode just prior to the prize fight.
That's right, he fainted, didn't he?
He fainted just before he was supposed to go on, suspended, passed all the medicals, but the board, understandably so, the Board of Control, they wanted to check that he was, 100% fit, so they demanded extra medical tests.
As they were allowed to do, correctly?
Both as they were allowed to, and in a way, totally understandable, because they're there to protect the boxer. But JJ had problems funding that, so I said, I'll tell you what, JJ, I'll cover that, because I'd like to have you on the card. Did that, got the all clear, he's on the card. So, yeah, that's it. It was great.
So, Rob, let's assume that Peterborough's a success, and I know it will be, because I know one or two of the people you're working with locally, and it will be a phenomenal success. Will we see a return to Robert Waterman putting shows on in London, where you had a fantastic run about 10 years ago?
Yeah, well, I hope so. I mean, I'm actually going to do a series up there. We've already booked our next show in the Arena in Peterborough for June the 9th, I think it is. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm hoping to do some shows down in London. I'm planning to do one with Mickey Hellier on Eurosport on April the 20th.
Okay.
And obviously, I'm also very keen because it's Olympic year, and we've had all this aggravation about boxing, and everyone's saying boxing's in trouble, and I don't think it is. I just think it has to be pushed hard.
Just got a bit
good sport.
The image took a bit of a kick in. That's all.
Yeah, the image took a bit of a kicking, and of course, what happened was totally reprehensible, what happened, but it's part of... I have a very strange view about it, which is it's part of that salacious appetite that we, not as a promoter now, but we, the public, have, because if the boys had donated half their purses to charity and opened a general hospital...
Yeah.
They probably wouldn't have had as much column inches for boxing as they have by doing this.
How true?
Don't get me wrong. I'm not defending it in the slightest. Whatever the board does is right, but it's a statement of fact that we've had more PR, and I don't think it's all negative because of this, than we would have otherwise. Well, and I think that's a shame. Let's hope
some good can come out of it. That show's on March the 9th up in Peterborough. But I've got to ask you about one of your fighters. I don't know if he's still one of your fighters. I don't even know if he's still boxing. A guy that I made a couple of films with all those years ago, Roman. Where's Roman Greenberg these days, Rob?
Well, Roman and I are still friends. Roman's back in Israel at the moment.
Oh, is he?
He lost the fight in the United States to Cedric Boswell, and it so affected him that he hasn't been able to put on the gloves since.
Wow. That could happen to guys that are unbeaten or feel they're invincible.
Yeah, well, I think Roman tried to rely on technical ability more than effort. or natural ability more
Yeah.
than effort. And I think he came unstuck on that fight, and he hasn't been able to cope with it. I still have a hope that one day he will put those gloves on again, but it's obviously got to be up to him, because he's still only 28. And with a record of 27... He's only 28, and he's got a record of 27-1, and losing to Cedric Boswell,
No great
who just
shame.
lost the world title, is no disgrace, is it?
So listen, we could have...
signing another new kid.
Go on, son, quickly.
Dan Aronov, who's a European and world silver medalist at junior, another Israeli kid, should be coming to England and campaigning out of London this year.
Listen, Rob, it's always a pleasure speaking to you, and we'll try and get Cello Rendo on the show next week. Building up. How about that?
That should be an exciting fight on March the 9th with Cello Rendo.
Well, listen, Robert Waterman, thanks very much.
Thank you.